welcome to a new week here at Sabores with Steph. I'm Stephanie and I'm going to show you all today how to make a chicken parmesan, which is one of my all-time favorite recipes. If anything, it's the first recipe that I learned how to cook as an adult. So we're going to be making a chicken parmesan. So I am going to be making a keto-friendly version today. Instead of breadcrumbs, I am going to use grind pork rinds, and I will show you how to do that. It's pretty easy. And if not, you can always use just regular breadcrumbs, and they already have it like prepared with Italian seasoning. So that's just my little spiel for today. I'm just gonna go over the ingredients. So today we're using 2 chicken breasts. We're gonna be using some mozzarella, cheese. For our spices, it is gonna be a bit of an Italian blend. So we have some garlic powder, we have thyme, basil, parsley, and oregano. And then of course, because I'm Latina and I like the heat, I'm gonna have a little bit of cayenne pepper as well. We're gonna be using salt, again in my fancy case. We're gonna use an egg mixture with heavy cream to help bind it a little bit. And we're gonna use whatever marinara sauce you prefer. I just found this at Costco and I like it because it is very low in sugar. And there are a lot of marinaras out there that have quite a bit of sugar in them. So I like that. So what we're gonna do first is we're gonna prepare the chicken by pounding it, then we're gonna bread it, and then we are going to fry it for a little bit just so that it's cooked, and then put it in a baking sheet and broil it for about 5 minutes so that everything, so all the cheese is melted. So we'll go ahead and get started. First, to prepare the chicken, I have a little bit of a story. The first time I ever made this recipe was in college, and I was trying to impress a boy, and boy did that blow up in my face. So I was still like super new to cooking, so I did not know that you needed to pound the chicken down in order to make it thinner so that way it cooks easier. And so when I made chicken parmesan for the first time, I thought I was so awesome. Like, oh cool, I made my chicken parmesan. And then when I cut into it, it was still raw. So make sure you either cut your meat in half. See how this is a thick breast? You can cut the breast in half and pound it down, because you don't want to be eating raw chicken like happened to me. So yeah, that was a fun lesson to learn. So what I'm doing now is I'm cutting the chicken breast in half. Because it's so thick, you want to make sure when you're cooking it that it actually gets cooked all the way through. So we're gonna cut it in half, and because I'm cutting it in half and it's still pretty thick, oops, that's half-ish. It's still gonna be a funky shape, but it's all good. So we got 2 halves here. Use some plastic or opened up Ziploc bag, and you can use either a wine bottle, a rolling pin, or a meat pounder. And we're just gonna pound the meat down. So if anybody was with me in my first test, when I first started back in September, we had a big laugh about pounding meat. So it's okay, I know the jokes are coming. But putting the plastic over the chicken, make sure that your meat doesn't get all messed up or gets like caught up on the meat mallet. So now the meat's like pretty thin. So you want it about like an inch, half an inch thick. So we have one ready. I'm just gonna do this real quick. I just wanted to show you all. So you can use, like I said, plastic wrap to make, to protect the chicken. Otherwise, if I did it without the plastic, I would just get like raw chicken all over my mallet, and also it would mess up the texture of the chicken. So let's protect our little chicken breast here. And if you don't have plastic wrap, you can always use like open up a Ziploc bag and you can use that. So here's our thin. I'm gonna prepare the pork rinds. So like I said, Corey and I are trying to reduce our how much carbs we eat because we realize we eat a lot. So we've been trying to do more keto-friendly stuff. So these are pork rinds, chicharrones, if you've seen them before. This is the brand that I'm using. This one, the 405 chicharrones. I think I mentioned it last week, like I have to watch Corey's portions because he can eat a bag in one sitting, but I know he loves them. The jalapeno cheddars from that brand is so good too. So if you are being more carb conscious, this has 0 carbs, so enjoy. So that's why I'm using pork rinds. And yesterday I was doing a taste test on a recipe and it used fried chicken and turned out really good. This is a nice keto recipe. So this is our breading. It smells really good, but this is the chicharrones. I'm gonna put the chicharrones in here for now. And then that's all it is. If you don't have like a little food processor, that's fine. All you're doing is basically crunching them up. So you can put all this in a Ziploc bag and crush your pork rinds that way. And if you're gonna use breadcrumbs, the breadcrumbs are already prepared, so you don't have to do that. It's really just like a quick pulsing of it. If you were doing breadcrumbs and you had plain breadcrumbs, you can now follow along with the breadcrumb stuff. So this is about 2 ounces of the pork rinds. It's all like grounded up. So to finish prepping them, I'm gonna add Italian. You can go out and buy something called Italian seasoning, but honestly, if you have these seasonings in your house, then you don't have to go out like, oh my god, I need to go buy Italian seasoning. No, it's literally just a blend of different Italian seasonings. So I'm doing 1 teaspoon of dried parsley, which I love having dried parsley on hand because I can never finish the whole parsley bunch and I always feel bad throwing away food. So 1 teaspoon of basil. So literally just gonna do 1 teaspoon of everything. We're gonna do 1 teaspoon of oregano. And this is to give the breadcrumb that like Italian seasonings that you taste when you have chicken Parmesan at home. I mean in the restaurant, not at home, or you make at home. So here's our blend of Italian seasonings. And then we're gonna put some garlic powder. Oops. A little more garlic powder is okay. And then about 1 teaspoon of the salt. So this is all going into our mix because this is what gives most of the flavor of the chicken Parmesan. So this is pretty easy to make. It's just breaded chicken with Italian seasonings in the breading. So you know what? This is cayenne, so I gotta be careful with this one. A little goes a long way with cayenne. Don't want spicy, just omit the cayenne. I'm just gonna mix this real quick. I'm using a chopstick as the first thing I had in handy, so it's just a spoon or whatever. So we're mixing this. So these are breadcrumbs for the chicken. All right, so we have that set. Last thing before we start dipping is our egg binder. So all you need is really like 1 egg. Unless you're doing more, then all you have to do is double the recipe. And then it's really just a splash, but for people who need a little bit of measurement, to guide is 1 teaspoon. So we're just putting that. So this is our egg binder. So the egg is what's really gonna help keep the breadcrumbs onto the chicken. With the piece of flattened out breast. You're gonna dip it in egg binder. Make sure it's all covered. And then we're gonna dip it. Make sure to press into it, coat it as best as you can. And then here's our breaded chicken. 1 down, 3 to go. Round 2, in case you missed it. Dip it in the egg binder. And for anybody wondering, Corey's not home yet, so that's why he hasn't popped in. He stopped by the grocery store for me, which he's always so awesome to do that for me. All right, here it is, number 2. Like my hermosa shirt, you should all go follow Queso con Loroco. She's a fellow Salvadorian designer, and she's so nice. So shout out to Nancy, who makes cool Salvi gear. So we're gonna fry it for a little bit. And then after we fry it, we're gonna put it in I'm just gonna put it in the oven sheet already. So you can just do a thin baking sheet, but I'm actually gonna pour like a bunch of marinara in it. So probably get like a deeper one so that your marinara doesn't fall out. So I'm gonna let this oil heat up for a little bit. All right, so the oil is ready. Just gonna put a couple pieces in. I think I can do 2 at a time. Yeah. All right. So it'll probably take about 3 minutes each side. It actually cooks pretty quickly because it's thin. I'm using this marinara sauce. This, I can already see some white to it. I don't think you can all see it very well. But doing it all. Looking real good. I recommend using tongs to flip. It's just a little bit easier. So get yourself some tongs, yo. So this is how it looks. And chicken Parmesan, it can be served with whatever your heart desires. So tonight, I'm gonna serve it. This is what it's looking like. Tonight, I'm serving my chicken Parmesan with some keto-friendly spaghetti. But you can use regular spaghetti pasta. Usually that's how it is at restaurants, is that they serve it with spaghetti. I sometimes like to also do it with like mashed potatoes and like asparagus. So you can do that too.
Hello.
Yeah, if you're interested in like some kind of alternative noodle, you could do whole grain, you could do whatever your heart desires. Almost done. Here's our Parmesan. I wish you could all smell it. How does it smell, babe? Oh, babe.
Yeah.
I need your help. So you have good timing. I can't open this jar.
Come on.
I tried to open it before I started filming.
There you go.
My strong hand.
Use my strong hands.
Alright. Then you're just gonna top it with marinara. And then I love marinara sauce, so you can always add more after it's baked. This is just the initial. So I like to top it with marinara and then have some marinara on the side, because for those of you that don't know, I worked at Mountain Mike's Pizza in high school, and like I have a very strong pizza addiction. So alright. So we're gonna top it with marinara, and then you could use shredded mozzarella, you can use the fresh mozzarella. I have ordered some, but I'm trying not to go out into the world as much just with COVID and everything. And so the last thing is just topping it with cheese. And then we're just gonna throw it in the oven just to let it melt Oh yeah. This is literally only gonna cook for 5 minutes and then we're gonna be done. So, this in. Try to put it, if you can all see, on the highest racks because the broiler's coming from above. So you wanna get your cheese melted. I'll take final pictures and I'll see you all next week, hopefully. Have a nice night and thank you all for your time. I appreciate you all.